So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how much money you can realistically make with a pressure washing business. I'm going to be talking about things like average job cost, mindset, factors that affect your earnings, and also anything else that I can think of whilst I'm waffling on. So I'll be drawing on my own experiences within the industry. So if you watched my videos before, you'll know that I currently run a pressure washing business here in the UK. And I also work with other exterior cleaning companies to grow too. So I work with companies who are doing well over £1 million and have large teams, but also work with one-man bands who are much happier earning less than that. Okay. So hopefully my experience and the experiences from those guys will help you understand how much money you can make and understand the industry a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to assume that you already have all of the equipment and you're ready to go as a one-man band or a small team. I'm not going to be talking about how much it costs to enter the industry and kit and stuff like that. That video is coming soon. But just in this video, I'm going to be talking about money and the financial side of things. One thing to mention, I will be working in British pounds because obviously I'm currently here in the UK. So if you're watching this from overseas, maybe you're in the US or anywhere else, the mindset and the principles still apply exactly the same to you. So just factor in the currencies and the average job cost, and hopefully you'll still get a lot out of this video too. Let's go. So the first thing that I want to talk about is mindset, because mindset is crucial when starting any business, but especially a pressure washing business. And there's a phrase that I learned a few years ago and it's helped me a lot and it might help you too. And this phrase is this: turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is king. Okay, one more. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is king. That phrase is great to apply to any business, but let's apply it to the pressure washing business, okay? Your pressure washing business could be making £20,000 a month, but if your overheads are £21,000 a month, you won't be a business very long. So that's where that phrase comes from. And it's a great way to frame your mindset when thinking about the finances and the start of your business, okay? And the start of any pressure washing business should always be the end goal. And what I mean by the end goal is how much money do you want to earn in 12 months' time, okay? If you haven't got a figure, you're just guessing and you're just kind of going wherever the wind blows. So you need to have a figure. So what do you want to have earned this time next year? So let's just say, to make things easy, you want to earn £50,000 in the next 12 months. Well, you just work backwards from that. So let's assume you work every month. £50,000 is around £4,000 a month or £1,000 a week. If you work 5 days a week, that's just over £200 a day. So now you have a starting point and now you can build a simple business plan around those figures. And a big thing to consider is what kind of lifestyle do you want? Do you want to stay as a one-man band? Do you want to keep things nice and simple? Do you want to build this business around your lifestyle, maybe around your family, your friends, other commitments? Or do you want to grow a big business with 5 or 6 vans on the road and reach for the stars and try and get over £1 million a year? Which one do you want? Because both come with pros and cons, right? One-man band, much less stress, much simpler, less overheads, and you can fix it around your life. But the cons are, if you don't work, you don't earn. You can't really scale past a certain amount on your own. But also, if you want to go the other way and grow a larger business, like I said, 5 or 6 vans on the road, that's great. But also consider the cons for that. Stress, much more overheads, staffing issues, the stress to keep the amount of leads coming in and booking amount of jobs to fill those 5 or 6 vans on the road. If you've got 5 or 6 vans, that's 5 or 6 loads of diesel for each van. Think of the machines, petrol to run each machine, the costs to run all the staff, pensions, national insurance, all that kind of stuff, business insurance. So there's no right or wrong there. You just have to work out which one you want, basically, and what kind of lifestyle you want, because that then dictates your earnings and your end goal. Let's now take a look at average prices in the UK. So in the UK, there's 3 main services that you can offer. Okay, there's driveway and patio cleaning, there's roof cleaning, and gutter cleaning. Yes, there are other services such as window cleaning or render cleaning, but I'm just going to focus on these 3 because these 3 are the main ones, right? So let's take driveways and patios first. With this service, it is seasonal. So you'll notice that kind of mid to end of Feb is when the season starts and people start, the weather improves, people start looking outside again, noticing that their driveway or patio is dirty, and then that's when the season would typically start. Maybe go into a bit of March as well. And that season then will run up until about October time. After October, you're not going to get many driveways and patios. You might get some commercial work, and if your marketing's amazing, yes, you might get some winter work. But assume for now that it's seasonal, okay? And this might vary area to area, but the average cost that I see, and with other companies that I work with, is a driveway or patio will be somewhere around £180 to £250, okay? You'll get, I personally wouldn't go lower than that, but you can get driveways and patios lower than that if you want to bring your minimum rate down. But I've also done driveways that are 4 or 5 times that, much larger driveways, much bigger jobs. So it can exceed £250, of course it would, but that's the average price. So that's driveways and patios. With roof cleaning is the other option that you can do. So roof cleaning is much higher ticket, and it's not seasonal, it's all year round. So for a roof clean, the average cost would be somewhere around £600 up into £1,000 for an average job. It can go way past that. I personally have done over £2,500 jobs before, and I know companies that have done way over that as well. Okay, but if you're just looking for an average to base it around, £600 to £1,000 is what you would charge for roof cleaning. Bear in mind, much longer than a driveway or patio clean, much more kit to set up. And it's a harder job. You're working at height. It's more dangerous. It's more specialist, which is why you can charge more. Okay, but roof cleaning is high ticket, and roof cleaning companies can scale really quickly, especially with it being all year round. So that's something to think about. And the third one is gutter cleaning. So gutter cleaning again is all year round, but it tends to peak more between November and March in the winter, when all the leaves come down, the rain, the snow, whatever. People notice that the gutters are blocked and they have to have them emptied, basically. So the gutter cleaning, again, area to area, it can vary, but I would say somewhere around £80 as a minimum, up to £150, and that's just for clearing the gutters. So that's a vacuum or handheld, just scraping out the gutters and blocking down pipes. Okay, you can upsell soffit and fascia washes, which would then add 2 or 3 times that amount to your job. But let's just keep it simple and talk about gutter cleaning there. So those are the 3 average prices. So now you know the average costings. Now you need to think about how many jobs can you accommodate each day, basically. Okay, so let's just go back to that £50,000, which was, what was it, £200 a day, I think it was. So let's just say £200 a day is your goal, and the average driveway clean is about £200 based on what I said earlier. 1 driveway or patio a day, 5 days a week, will see you hit that £50,000 goal by the end of the year if you keep to that. Okay, some days you'll have bigger jobs that come in and it will help you surpass that monthly goal. Other months might be a bit quieter. Depends how you market. But that's the way to think about things. And if you want to earn double that, you think, well, yeah, I could offer roof cleaning. I could do a roof a day at £600. £600 times 5 is £3,000. 3 times 4, £12,000 months. 12 times 12, you get me. You're over 6 figures now. So that's how you need to think about your mindset or pricing is, how many can I do? What will I charge? How many jobs do I have to do a day to hit my daily goal? And that's a great way to think about your earnings. A lot of people charge per square meter. I personally am not a fan of that. It's harder to scale. It's you can't predict it. Whereas if you just charge a day rate or charge per job, it's much easier to predict what's going on, know what you need to get in, and it's much easier to scale. Because per square meter, you could be, yes, it's more accurate and it looks a bit better to the customer, but you don't know what job's coming in next. If that makes sense. Okay, so that's a bit about the average costing in the UK. But a thing you need to think about as well, something you need to think about as well is your overheads. Okay, so let's take a driveway and patio. Let's just say it's a £200 driveway. That's fine. But now take off your petrol for the machine, your diesel for your van to get there, and any chemicals you use. So make sure you take off your overheads, because there's always overheads on a job. Your overheads on a roof, for example, will be much higher because you've probably got a scaffolding or a cherry picker hire. You're going to have an extra man to help you out, so a labourer. You're going to have much more petrol because it runs for longer during the day. So petrol for the machine, diesel again for the van, and biocide, which is more expensive than hypo. So yeah, always consider your overheads. Gutters is a bit easier because quite often if you're using a gutter vac, you'll plug into the customer's electricity into their home. I personally have a generator. I prefer the generator. So if you have a generator, think about the petrol to run that as well. So they are your average costs, and then also a bit of extra information about your overheads. So the next thing to think about is marketing. How are you getting these jobs in? Because you can be the best cleaner in the world, you can have the best kit, the best technique, get the best results for your customers, but if there's no leads there and no one knows who you are, it's pointless. So a common mistake that most exterior cleaners fall into at some point is they work too much in the business and not on the business, okay? So they're cleaning too much, they're focusing on the cleaning side, but they're not thinking about how to actually get the work in. You have to market. Please listen to that. So many exterior cleaners don't. They just don't put money into their marketing, and then they wonder why they're quiet. You've got to spend, okay? But it's a case of spending wisely. So if I said to you, I will give you £8, will you give me £1 back to get another £8 the next month? and that's marketing. That's Facebook ads. You have to work out your conversion rate. So out of, say, how many, let's say 10 leads. If I was to give you 10 leads, how many will you convert into paying customers? Okay, so let's just say it's 10%. So now you know your conversion rate on average is 10%. And if you're running Facebook ads, for example, or Google ads, you know your cost per lead, let's just say it's £5. And then you work backwards from that. So let's just say you need 100 leads and your conversion rate is 10%. You know you're going to close 10 jobs out of those 100 leads on average. So if cost per lead is £5, you need to spend £500 to get those 100 leads in. Okay, and let's just say they're roof cleans, for example. Let's just say you close 10 out of those 100 at £600 a roof. That's £6,000 profit from your ads. So that's something to think about as well. Mindset towards marketing and ads. You have to get out there. You have to spend to accumulate. 100%. There are other mistakes that cleaners make also which stop them growing or to stop them earning the amount they want to each year. And some of those are basically not marketing enough, as I mentioned. Not keeping up with your social media. You've got to be active every day. Not working on your Google My Business profile. That is a free tool on Google where people will see you if they search you. They're not collecting enough reviews, and they're not getting their brand out there. They're not working on their brand. So if you're making any of those mistakes, you will be harming any potential earnings. Another bit of advice with pricing as well is don't try to be the cheapest. Okay, people think when they start out they've got to try and undercut everyone to get going, and that's not the case. Yes, you might get more work in, but they're not the customers you want, because the people who are willing to pay the least complain the most. That's standard in business, and especially in this industry. You'll also be damaging your profits, because remember, turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, because you've still got to take all your overheads out of them. So if you're charging the lowest rate you possibly could, take off all your overheads, you're not left with very much at all. And you'll have more jobs, so you'll be burnt out because you'll be overdoing it. And your business will not last very long at all, I promise you right now. Make sure you charge the amount you should be doing, which is fair. Yes, you might go a tiny bit cheaper to begin with whilst you're learning the ropes of getting yourself out there. But don't try and be the cheapest, because it'll kill your business, I promise you, 100%. So if you're sitting there thinking, should I be starting a pressure washing business? Can I make money from it? The answer is absolutely yes. Okay, there will be people online from other companies who aren't doing too well, unfortunately, but they'll be blaming things like cost of living crisis, saying the industry is saturated, and saying there's not work out there. But I promise you there are. There's so much work out there. There's work for my own company, there's work for all the companies that I help as well. I see it. I know companies, like I said, doing over £1 million. I know companies deliberately doing less. But the work is always there. You just have to go out and find it. You have to spend, you have to invest in your marketing, do all the right things to get as many eyeballs on you. The biggest bottleneck to growth and earnings isn't the equipment, isn't the technique, isn't the industry. It's getting eyeballs on you. It's how well can you market. Think marketer first, cleaner second. That's a big one that I always think of, because, like I said, best cleaner, best results, but with no work and no leads is pointless. Okay, flip it. Be a good cleaner, be a better marketer, and you can earn lots of money if you do it correctly. It's as simple as that. If you build your business, you build the foundations strong. If you invest in your marketing, if you do all the right things, think like a business, not a cleaner, then yeah, why can't you go and do 6-7 figures a year? It's up to you. It's absolutely up to you. So hopefully this video has helped you understand the financial side a little bit better. Like I said, a video will be coming soon about how much it costs to get into the industry. So equipment, insurances, marketing, all that kind of stuff will come in a separate video. But I wanted to do this video just because I know a few people have said to me that they'd like to hear a bit more about the financial side. Okay, so yeah, hopefully it's helped you. If you're not in the UK, like I said, take the principles and the core mindset behind it and just adjust the currencies and the average job cost. And hopefully this will help you too. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. So see you soon.